Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Very Connected podcast. And today we're being joined by Kate, who is a nurse practitioner and specializes in obesity medicine and also bariatrics. And Kate and I we became friends maybe a little over a year ago at the ASMBS conference, and Kate started pairing up with doing some projects with ProCare, which we'll talk more about. But welcome, Kate. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I am Kate Foose. I'm a physician assistant. I work in bariatrics, and I'm over here in Atlanta, Georgia. So I used to do a lot of surgery, but I'm now in the clinic setting and take care of all of y'all who are surgical patients. So I am really excited actually to talk about our topic for today, because I think it's a very relevant question. I get asked this all the time in clinic. And so I thought we would spend some time during the talk to kind of go through. I have some slides. If you guys do have a pen and paper or your phone or something, if you want to participate and write down as we go, that could be helpful. So if you have a minute to gather some supplies. And then, so after my little spiel, I'll have an opportunity for you guys if you have questions. I'll be asking for a volunteer. Brenda, unless you want to be my volunteer, no pressure, but whoever wants to jump in. But yeah, really excited about this topic. So thank you, Brenda, for allowing me to come on and speak today.
Yes, absolutely. And I just want to share also, Kate, we added Kate's presentation to our support group's handout page, which is located on procarenow.com. So if you're joining and by chance, if you have to jump off early, the full presentation will be there as well. I'm going to share the link here just in a second so that people will have it. And then I will share later a little bit more on how to get there, but I'll share the link. Right ahead, Kate.
Love it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start screen sharing. Let me just make sure I got the PowerPoint here pulled up. All right. I'm seeing a lot of people from all over the place in the chat box popping up. I saw some Georgians in there. So hi guys, welcome. Okay, can you see my screen okay? Brenda, is this popping through? All right. Okay, great. So I'm going to just jump right in. So we've got plenty of time to answer any of your questions. I know Brenda's going to field the chat. She's got her hands on all the different social streams here. All right. So expected weight loss after surgery. I know it's a lot to juggle. I do support group too, so I totally get it. All right. So we are going to go through some terms here. Let me try to move some of these videos out of the way. So again, we're going to be doing a little bit of math. So sorry for some of the calculations, but I do think it really helps when patients have questions of what's normal, how much weight should I be losing? Am I on track? So every time I see a patient in clinic, I do a little number crunching here. And these are the terms that you're going to see pop up and how I calculate some of these numbers. So ideal body weight. So this is your body weight that would be at a body mass index of 25 based on your height. So BMI, body mass index, is just a measure of your height over your weight. And that's 25 is kind of what the standard is for normal. Now, we could have a whole conversation about body mass index. Does not mean that your ideal body weight is what your goal weight should be. Some patients have higher goal weights, but it just helps standardize what patients' weights are across populations, okay? But we can specify it to your height. I like calculating things relative to what extra body weight you're carrying. So excess body weight is how much extra weight you're carrying relative to your ideal body weight, okay? And we'll kind of go through how to calculate that. And then that's relevant because we can turn that number into a percentage. So how much of that you've actually lost along the way. So this is the percentage of your excess body weight that you've lost. And then in some of the medical literature, especially if you're dealing with some of those weight loss medications, some of those injectables, the studies will reference weight loss relative to your total weight that you've lost. In the surgical literature, we see more research studies relative to excess body weight, excess weight loss. Okay, so the EWL. I don't typically do the total weight loss. So I'm going to help you guys calculate your excess weight loss percentage. If you guys have any clarifying questions or anything, just drop it in the chat and we can kind of address this later. All right, so if you've got your pen and paper, here's where we're going to start to crunch some numbers. So we're going to start with our ideal body weight. Again, this is at a body mass index of 25. So how do you calculate this? So what you're going to do is you're going to take your height. So let's say you're 5'6", but we're going to take that into inches. And then you're going to take that and you're going to square it. Okay, so we always do the parentheses part first. Then we're going to divide whatever number that gives you by 703. Don't ask me why that number specifically. That's going to give us this number inside the bracket. And then you're going to multiply that by 25 to get for that BMI reference of 25. That would be your ideal body weight. Okay. Again, this doesn't mean this is the weight that we expect you to be, but that would put your weight based on your height into the normal BMI category. All right. So let's give an example. So like I said, if you were 5'6", what would your ideal body weight be at a BMI of 25 for that? Okay. So I will kind of go through these steps together as you crunch those numbers. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that 5'6", you're going to convert that into inches. Here's a trick for 5 foot, that's 60 inches. Okay. So all you have to do is add the extra inches on top of it for some quick math. So that's 66. Now you're going to square that number. Don't forget to square it. So that gives us our number here, divided by 703. That's step number 3. And you're going to multiply it by 25. Okay. That will give you pounds. So that's ideal body weight. So that's going to be at a patient who's 5'6". If they were 155 pounds, they would be around a body mass index of 25. Okay. We doing okay so far? Okay. So how do we calculate excess weight? So for example, for you, I want all of you guys to make reference of this relative, assuming that you guys have had surgery or leading up to surgery. So what is your highest weight? So when a patient comes into our clinic, we have the documented scale readings of weight. So that's what we use as our metric. Now you might have already lost 50 pounds, 100 pounds prior to that. Okay. But when I see a patient in clinic, I'm just going to take the highest documented weight that I have on record before surgery. Okay. Starting with that weight, I'm going to subtract it from the ideal body weight. Okay. And so that tells me how much extra weight or excess weight the patient I'm seeing is carrying. Okay. So for an example, let's say I have a sleeve patient. They come in, their highest weight was 255 pounds before having surgery. Same example we used before. They're 5'6" because we calculated their ideal body weight. Okay. So how much excess weight do they have for the sleeve patient at the time of their visit? All right. So again, what I'm going to do here is this is how I chart it. In my chart, I have like a little table here. Highest weight, and we're not going to fill all these out right this second, but these are the steps to calculate excess weight that we just had on the other slide. And this is just some of the clinical information I reviewed. Okay. So what you can start doing is you can start plugging in some of these numbers into the chart. Okay. So we're going to take our highest weight because we have that information. We calculated the ideal body weight on the last slide, and we're trying to find how much excess weight they have. Okay, so 255. I tried to make the numbers easy for us here a little bit. All right, so their ideal body weight was 155. So they're carrying, this patient, as an example, has 100 pounds of extra weight that they're carrying. Now, why is this important? So patients will come in, right? You'll come into the office and you're losing weight, right? Which is great. And you're going to say, well, how am I doing? And I need a way to standardize your weight loss to other people. Okay. Because it's easy for you guys to go on social media, to go on Facebook, be like, well, I was on this Facebook group and I saw this person who had this sleeve just like me, but they've lost all this weight, right? So how do we standardize this to help from a comparison standpoint? So let's say this patient, I'm going to just say you as if you're our example patient, but let's say you're 4 months out from surgery. You come into the clinic and you weigh 215 pounds. Okay, so now we have some more information to help us fill in a little bit more of that table. All right. So current weight, we know, so we can fill that in here. Current weight of 215 pounds. You could use these numbers to calculate how much you've lost relative to your highest weight. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find out, okay, that we've lost 40 pounds from your highest weight when you come in for your 4-month appointment, relative to how much extra body weight you've had to lose. We're going to figure out what that is in a percentage. So you divide these numbers together. That's going to give you a fraction. In order to make it a percentage, you have to multiply it by 100. Okay. So then for this patient that comes in, I would say, you've lost 40 pounds since your surgery. Okay. Which means you've actually lost, of the extra weight you're carrying, 40% of your extra body weight. Okay. So that's really great to have that information. But then the patient's going to ask me and say, well, what does that mean? Is that good? I mean, some people get a good gist of like, that's actually a pretty good percentage, 40% of my extra weight so far, right? All right. So this is a busy chart, but I want to just showcase this. So this is from a journal. And I really love this. I save this and I reference this all the time because these are great averages of what to expect to lose based on some of the data. And I believe this was from 2019. So what I want to do is I want to kind of go through this chart. So AGB is adjustable gastric band. We're not doing a ton of bands much. If anything, we're taking them out. SG is sleeve gastrectomy, Roux-en-Y gastric bypass. This is the switch, and this is SADI. So we don't have a ton of data on SADI because it's relatively newly approved FDA in the States. Compared to how we have 2-year data, 10-year data from some of these other surgeries. Okay, so the SADI isn't as well filled out. However, what you can see here is based on a patient who's had the sleeve at 2 years, they lose about 58% of their excess body weight in terms of the percentage, okay, that we just went through. They lose it and they maintain. That's kind of where they shake out. And they're pretty consistent, at least based on this study at the 10-year mark. Bypass, they might lose more in the beginning, and then they kind of even out to the sleeve long term when we have our data. Now, again, there could be even more recent studies on long-term outcomes from weight loss that are more up to date. So these numbers could shift, but these are just to give you averages. Okay. The switch is going to be higher because long-term, it's a more malabsorptive procedure. The switch is the most malabsorptive. And so SADI kind of shakes in between that and around where the switch is. So how do we go ahead.
Some people, if they are listening, like as a replay later, may only have access to the audio and not the video. So do you want to just kind of throw out a couple numbers so that people would know?
Would love to.
Guys, this handout, again, I'm going to just repeat, is available on the ProCare website under Very Connected and Support Group Handout. So go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Thank you for that reminder. Okay, so for sleeve gastrectomy, so if you look at 2 years, most patients will lose and maintain around 58% of their extra body weight in terms of the percentage lost. And that's about the same 10 years out. So for all you veterans who are multi-years out, that's kind of what average numbers look like. Bypass, about 68% excess weight loss percentage at 2 years and around 57% 10 years. Switch is 65% or at 2 years and 74% 10 years. And then we don't have a ton of data on SADI yet, but around the 1 year, it's about 72. So it does kind of, I like to kind of average it around by the switch when I'm talking to patients about outcomes. Okay. So what I did on this slide, because I would love to give someone an opportunity. If you're not a math person or you just want help kind of going through the numbers and applying it to your situation, I would be happy to do so. So if anyone wants to jump in the chat or raise their hand, and Brendan, maybe you can find a volunteer or two. So what I did is I also, I copied over just some of those stats into this chart right here. So we can have a little bit of a comparison with some of our stats. And I want to see if I can go into the slide so we can manually do it together so you can see. Oh, I think I lost that. Can you still see me on here, or did I lose it? Okay. Well, I tried to make an impromptu little table and that went away. I don't know why that went away, but that's okay. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the notes section as long as you can see my screen. Okay. I'll write it down here because this is a picture I can't edit directly on the chart. All right. Let me know whenever you've got somebody.
Okay, let's see. I'm looking. So Bonnie is asking you want some actual numbers. So what would you like, Kate, if somebody is interested?
Okay. So what I would like is someone's height and then their highest weight and then what their current weight is. And then from there, if they want to tell me what surgery they had and how far out they are, we can kind of, and this is just for, informational purposes. This is just to help guide going through this as an example with the math for you guys to calculate yourself.
Okay, let's see. It looks like we have a volunteer. There's a couple people that said they'd be interested. So let's start with Lauren. She has surgical weight 287, current weight 249, height 5'8".
Okay. So for everybody who likes math, let me see if I can make this bigger.
So, Kate, it is not showing on the screen. It's just showing the partner program savings screen.
It is. Oh, let me see if I can resume share. Oh, hold on. Let me stop. And let me go back. I don't know. Okay. Oh, here we go. Let me see.
We'll try to get to as many as we can, guys. Give you as many examples.
Okay. Can you see it now? Okay. All right. Can you repeat those numbers? I think I had my, wrong screen pulled up on the screen share.
Let's see. I think I was doing Bonnie's. Let me look here real quick because now there's so many comments. Yes, Bonnie.
Sorry. 66. Okay. 387. 268. SADI. Okay. And how far out? Remind me, Bonnie. I think she's not too far out if this is our Bonnie. Okay. So, all right. So if I were to calculate ideal body weight, what we're going to do, she's 5'6", so 66 inches. So we kind of like our example, actually. So you square that, you divide it by 703, you multiply it by 25 to get the BMI of 25. So her ideal body weight would be 155 pounds. So what we're going to do is we're going to calculate how much she's lost relative to her highest. So 387 minus 268 is 119. All right. All right. So what I'm going to do here is we still have to figure out how much extra weight she's carrying. So we look at the highest weight and we look at our ideal body weight and we see what's the difference there. How much extra weight does Bonnie have leading up to the time of surgery? So she is 232 pounds. Okay. So she has lost 119 pounds. Love that, Sadie. Awesome. All right. So at this time of her appointment, she's down 119 pounds, which is worthy of our 100-pound t-shirt that we give to our patients. So super exciting. So that's just the victory in itself. So we want a percentage. So we want to take how much she's lost relative to the extra weight that she's carrying. So we're going to be comparing these two numbers together. So when we do that, relative to just means you divide. So 119 divided by 232, that's a fraction, which if we multiply it by 100, that's going to give us the percentage. So Bonnie's lost 51% of her excess body weight at the time of her appointment. Okay. And so what I would say is I would kind of go back here based on where she is, right? So if she was kind of early on, I would say, for most patients, I figured, she's in the first six months. So, most patients around the 1 year mark, they shake out to be about 72%, but these are averages. Okay. So this is the other thing is don't beat yourself up if you're not there, or if you've had regain, it's okay. Some patients, it's a good metric to kind of help them compare to others. And some patients can lose more. So even as a sleeve patient, I have seen patients lose 80, 90, all of their excess weight. Okay. So it's not to say that this is where you cap. you can definitely lose more, but it is a good metric to say, okay, if I'm under this amount and average is about these numbers, what can I do to shake up my lifestyle? And this is like a whole other conversation about stalls and regain. But so yeah, so for Bonnie, it would be 51% at 5 months.
So, Kate, we're getting kind of close today, guys. Our presentation is only 30 minutes because Miss Kate is working. And
we have a little bit more time. Okay, go ahead.
We have a couple questions, and then there's lots and lots of people who've put data down. So what do you think? Take one more estimation and
yes,
and then
we'll go through it fast.
A couple of questions. Okay.
I love that. That sounds great. Okay, who's next?
On her numbers would be right where she needs to be.
Yeah, because 5 months, she's 51%. And for the 1 year mark, most SADIs are 72. So she's kind of doing above average.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
I'm going to
next
pick one more, and I'm going to pick somebody off of Facebook just because kind of go back and forth. And okay, we have a gastric bypass patient, 5'8".
5'8", okay.
And highest weight, 261. Current weight, 236.
How far out?
3 months.
Okay, 3 months. Bypass. All right. So for 5'8", ideal body weight shakes out. I just crunched the numbers. You guys can do it on the side, 164. Relative to the highest weight that they came before surgery, they have about 96 pounds of extra weight that they're carrying. Okay. So let's figure out how much weight they've lost. 261 minus their current weight, 25, relative to the extra weight that they're carrying. That'll give us a fraction, times it by 100. That gives us 26%. Okay. So at 3 months, and here's how I kind of look at it too. It's easier in the beginning for patients. So for bypass, I usually say it's like 15-ish pounds a month. Most patients will lose. So about 45 pounds. But again, this patient hasn't lost 45 pounds, but that's okay. There's other variables at play here as well. So she might not have as much weight to lose. She still lost, a quarter of her weight, and she's a quarter of the year in. So that's still doing very well. Now, if this patient was struggling with stalls, I would say, are you eating enough? Because usually, at this point, it's hard to get those calories up, and that will pick up the pace of your weight loss as well, making sure you're hitting your protein goals, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And so to go back to that chart, by about 2 years, most patients with bypass are kind of in between the sleeve and bypass over here. So 60s, but that's at 2 years. Okay. So again, slow and steady, you can get there. Absolutely.
Okay. And somebody had asked about the calculation. I'm going to just share the link again, Kate, in a moment for them to go back to that and be able to refer to it. So it was
absolutely.
height in inches squared divided by 703, then times 25. But I'll share that link
for ideal body weight.
How about two questions? So this comes from Sharon. If someone has lost more than the expected excess weight loss, would the more than carry over to 2 years out and 10 years out, or would regain be expected to get to that 58% showed on the chart earlier? That's a great question. So how does regain figure into that? Like, would they lose more initially and then gain back up to that, or?
That's a hard question to answer because everyone's journey is so different. So where are you having regain, and where are you trying to follow here, right? So I would say on average, if we're just looking at a couple years post-op, sometimes we can see regain happen within 1 to 2 years after surgery. And so again, it might alter some of your percentages and it might slow down the pace of your weight loss. But it's all about average, right? So long-term, it's about maintenance. So yes, sometimes we have these seasons of life that can be really challenging. We go back to unhealthy habits, but as long as you can get back on track, recover some of those healthy habits, it can help stimulate your weight loss and continue to improve your weight loss percentage. So you're more likely to hit regain, obviously, the further out you are from surgery. how long you're regaining for is also like, I always recommend patients coming to get into the clinic and follow up with your practice. Have that type follow up. Even if you're years out, you should go every 6 months or at least every year, get some labs, have that accountability. So, okay, how is regain, if you are experiencing, affecting the percent of my excess weight that I've lost and these numbers, right? So if you're seeing that it's dipping your numbers really low fast, then it's like, okay, maybe that's enough to like put the bumpers on to get back on track and to start working back on some of those healthy habits again to help with weight loss. So these aren't necessarily goals that I want you guys to shoot for. I want you to shoot for what your goal weight is. So what I use the context of these numbers, right? So for example, if a patient's ideal body weight is 155, but their goal is 160 or 160, whatever it is, I'm higher than this, right? So what I can say is, all right, so most patients, let's say we use this example. This is a sleeve patient example. So I said, all right, so most patients, around a couple years out, they lose 58% on average of their excess weight. So let's do that for this patient. So of the excess weight, this number is probably a little bit easier to calculate. Right here, we've got 100. So this patient, if they were an average sleeve patient, would lose probably 58 pounds, 58% of their extra weight. So relative to where they're starting from, 255, that would put their expected long-term average weight to be around 197. So would that be like, for that patient to be like, I'm just going to settle at 197? Well, no, like some patients might have a goal, I want to be 170. So you can keep striving for that. Okay, these are just average numbers. Did that help kind of answer the question? I think regain is kind of tricky, depending on where it hits in your journey.
And Kate,
but these can just be benchmarks.
I'm going to do one last question just to segue into them knowing how to contact you or get a hold of you for more questions, or for Banana Bariatrics, which is your aftercare program that you offer. So the question here is, what is the most common cause of regain? As seeing so many patients in clinic, what would you say? I mean, there's so many factors, so many.
I would say for each patient, it's unhealthy habits that sneak back in. And that unhealthy habit's different for every person. Sometimes it's finding the shortcuts around their stomach, where it's like, okay, well, I can drink sugar sweetened beverages because I don't get dumping. I don't get sick anymore. I don't have that restriction anymore. I can have the juice, the soda, the cookies, the whatever, and it doesn't affect me. And so it's like, well, I'll just have it at this, so things start to sneak back in and the frequency increases. I have it at the social event, and now it's at work. And now, my whoever in the house bought it down their grocery trip, and now I'm having it most nights of the week. Right. So little stuff like that can really add up and contribute to regain. And that's different for every person. Sometimes it's an injury, and a person who's really heavily into exercise and fitness, maybe to compensate for eating, but maybe not, and they can't do that anymore. I mean, that can contribute to regain as well. For some patients, it's sleep deprivation and stress, and they're going through a divorce, or they're caregiving for an elderly, family member. And it's like their whole routine is off kilter, and they're like just in survival mode, trying to take it day by day, but that stretches a couple months. That can be regain itself. So there's not just one answer. It's kind of a hodgepodge of things. And sometimes it's hormones. Sometimes women in perimenopause and menopause are hormone shift, and or you have to go on steroids because you had a flare of, arthritis or whatever the case may be. And medications have weight gain as a side effect. So there's all kinds of stuff that can be a source, but it's patient dependent.
Yeah. Your calculations, were those for men and women both? Yes. So let's go ahead and share more about how they can connect with you.
Okay, perfect. So I'm the founder of a virtual aftercare program. It's called Banana Bariatrics. Whether you're leading to surgery or after, everything is virtual. We've got weekly support groups, meal prep recipes, challenges, lots of courses, and it's a great opportunity to just get back on track. Or if you're new after surgery, just to have that high touch point support off of, just like a normal social media Facebook group or whatever. Now, we have a great relationship at ProCare where we have a bundled program. So I love ProCare vitamins. We use them with all of our patients. And so if you buy vitamins through ProCare, you can do a bundle, and you can bundle your vitamins and a membership to Banana together for the best cost savings. So 2 birds with 1 stone. And then these are just some of our other social links as well, if you want to follow along. And if you need to contact me here, that's my email. But this is a QR code to the partnership that we have.
And Kate, I hope I may have taken your screen off accidentally, because I was trying to go to the ProCareNow.com website. So
I'll stop this share.
Well, I was going to say, I will show you how to get a hold of you here too as well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to copy and paste what Kate just had up on the screen into the chat box, so you guys have that contact information. But on ProCareNow.com, copy that link. We have a tab that says Very Connected, which is these podcasts that you guys are listening to. That's where you can find the replay of Kate's presentation. That's where you can find the support group handouts with the presentation that is here today. And that's where you can find Kate's partner program. So if I'm going to click onto that just real quickly, and when I get on to our Body and Soul partner programs, Kate's is listed under Banana Bariatrics. And Kate, when I press that, I'm going to kind of let you talk just a little bit more about what that looks like for the bundling.
Yes, absolutely. So as a bariatric patient, we want you to be on bariatric multivitamins and calcium. And so when you buy in bulk and you do the subscribe and save, we can bundle in with some of the membership options. And so what this does is it really drops the cost. So you're not paying for all these things individually. You just pay it for one. And if you're the kind of person that likes to subscribe and save, just set it, forget it. You're consistent. You like having, just the recurrence of these things. This is a great opportunity to sign up for that. And just based on the delivery method of it, because you're buying in bulk. So, if you look at this subscription model as a 3-month model, we have our model set monthly, but because of ProCare, they can send you your vitamins in bulk. So you're going to get that for that first month, and it's going to stretch you all the way through. So the second and third month, you're not going to get vitamins because you've already received them in that first month. And you also get access to obviously all of the body and soul support that you get with Brenda as well as part of it. So that's kind of how it works. And that's how the billing would break down every month.
Well, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. I'm going to share Kate's links that we just had with that. And Kate.
And there is a 1 week.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say there is a 1 week trial. It's $1 if you want to just get inside Banana, just see what it's all about, kind of look around. You're welcome to do that, and then you can just cancel anytime in that week. And like I said, we have support groups on a regular basis, so you'll be able to catch it live if you want to jump on. Some of the support groups we have a function and fitness support group. We have a Back on Track group that I lead every month. We have a bariatric clinical psychologist. She does food addiction and emotional eating. We have a meal prep cooking support group as well. So if you're someone that wants to get in the kitchen more and have more meal prep support, we definitely have a great, option for that, and a big library. And we have it Together We Can. So if you're looking for more mindset support, body image, all that kind of stuff that comes whole package with life after surgery, we kind of try to hit the gamut with all of those areas and how we support. We do record and offer replays just like you do, Brenda. So like Netflix, if you can't make the time because of work or whatever, you can go back and watch the replays and catch up on missed opportunities.
Wonderful. Closing thoughts.
From me or from anyone else in the chat? Oh, well. Yeah, I just want to say thank you again, Brenda, for having me on. I think this is a really important question that I get asked a lot. And I just want you guys to have grace on your journey. Everyone's journey is different. Don't get too obsessed about the numbers. Honestly, it really just boils down to being consistent, doing what feels good, doing the bariatric basics, get your vitamins in, take them 7 days a week. Try to be as perfect as you can with that multivitamin that has iron and calcium. Make sure you're moving your body and pushing yourself. Make sure you're getting your protein and water. You need to be your own accountability coach. So you should be nudging yourself to challenge yourself. And that's exciting thing about being a bariatric patient is sometimes you can set new goals you never thought you could accomplish or dream of. And so be that person that just keeps nudging the needle for your own health goals, and make sure you have a strong support system and community, like Very Connected, or if you want to join Banana, so that you can have positive cheerleaders just supporting you every step of the way who get it and want to see you succeed.
Wonderful. Yes. And track your success, because I think that's one of the things, when you were talking about like taking your vitamins or fitness, for me, if I write down the days that I do it, what I do, it kind of gives me a guideline of where I'm at, because it's not about perfection. It's about staying consistent. I would think that's probably a lot of it, because that mindset of I have to do everything and be perfect, you guys, it just doesn't exist. No one can be perfect all the time. So I shouldn't say no one. Maybe there are people out there that can do it, but it doesn't always fit. I'll just say, at least for my lifestyle, I try to do the best I can. But Kate, thank you so much. And guys, thank you for joining us. This will be available on replay if you want to come back and listen. And again, her handout is available on our ProCare website under support group handouts. And Kate, thank you so much. We're going to have you back, because
You're welcome.
We just didn't have a lot of time.
I'd love to.
Thank you so much. And just have a great day. Everybody.
Post anybody who has questions or wants a specific topic covered, you guys just throw it in the chat or on Facebook or wherever, email me, and then maybe we can circle back and just do a longer talk on that next time. But thanks, Brenda. Thank you guys for sharing your lunch with me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Bye, Kate.